We'll get started. As you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is everyone able to hear me all right? I'll ask, I do have a hearing issue, so if we can keep any crosstalk to a minimum, it helps me to be able to directly hear what's happening at the board level. We'll make a call this meeting to order. This is a joint meeting of the town and village. Today the village is hosting it, so basically Tunis is sick today, and sends his regards, saying that he's unable to make it and didn't want to get everyone sick. So his apologies for not being here. I'll be running this, and then immediately following these meetings, the town will be staying here for their regular monthly meeting, and the village will be going downstairs to the board meeting for our village meeting. First item on the agenda is the Parks Commission. That's actually my item, along with the other members. The Parks Commission consists of myself, Ben Dodger, Steve Warner, and Ron Lodger. We've been working for about 6 months on a updated addendum to the master plan. I've sent it to everyone on the board. I did have an issue that Mr. Marcellus is currently working on. The town board email rejected it as staying, probably because it's too large. I sent it to you, our updated current one full review. The process is that the Parks Commission has been working on this, identifying subjects and items at the park for us to focus on. We're sending you, the town board, and the village board, as representatives of our community to look at it first. Following that, there will be a 12 or 14 person group that the Park Commission has identified as key players in the park. That would include arborists, people that are strong users of the park, the school, the churches that utilize the park, and neighbors. So we will reach out to them to, again, have the tertiary review. Once that review happens, then we'll go out to the public. So the entire process will have some transparency. We're moving from a small group to a large group, with the hope that by June or so we will have an updated park master plan agenda. Okay, so the information will be in your email. If you're from the village, it's already there. If you're from the town, it will be there soon.
I think that's a question, Karen.
Yes.
How do you say you selected this 12 to 14 group of people? What is the process for that?
So that is actually moving forward from the previous addendum attempt in 2019 and 2020. So we're following a standard protocol. Each of the people that were selected are either neighbors of the park, active users such as representatives from, say, Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, several representatives from the churches. The Crossways Church across the street is a very close user in the schools. So, and we'll also have people who are arborists. Somebody was a park it works on park design. So that's a group of people that have shown interest in the park design process, and we've selected them. Now, if there's anyone who wants to be also on that committee, they can send an email to anyone on the Parks Commission. What we don't want to have happen is any over-selection of certain groups of people, or we don't want all neighbors versus all people who are on churches versus all people who are on businesses. Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Again, my apologies for the issue. I know Mr. Marcellus is working on it right now. The second one is GOGov, Citizen Notification Program. The village has, for over a year now, had an app that is available to all residents, including town residents, people outside the town, but it is geared towards the village for official announcements, things like water main breaks that have happened recently. We're able to make announcements there. We also make announcements about upcoming activities. And we're having a discussion with the town whether they would like to join us in this endeavor. We have found that transparency communication through official channels with our constituency is very important to us. I believe it's very important to us.
Yeah, do you have any mean, and maybe you can email, I don't expect to have the numbers like off the top of your head, right? But how many active users do you have or downloads of that? Do you know?
I may be able to get an idea. Oh, listen.
So there's about 3 people that are signed up for the text messages, and roughly 280 that have, so 280 that have signed up with their information to that, for notifications and stuff like that. So I don't get exact numbers from GOGov, and eventually they kind of put in there where we can, but it's targeting certain areas to send out notifications to if we did want something for just the certain section in town. Could send that notification into that specific area. And I can always go through, like walk through that office part of it, and do a demo through with the different features that are on there. Pretty easy to use. There's not a limited number of users that we can have for it.
Some of the issues that we've explored previously made it somewhat difficult to separate strictly village from strictly town. But there is opportunities for geofencing, am I correct? So there is opportunity for geofencing in the app, so that may be a partial solution. The idea is that we would share the cost for us, and we would share the opportunity the app would be. Sure. But,
No, I'm just curious if we can get some of the data, really about the turn on rate, right?
yes, if only 5% of the population uses that,
I don't know. Right?
but it's also, again, from our perspective, from the village perspective, it's been an opportunity to provide our constituents with a clear, efficient channel of communication. So that's something that if you want to have to assign someone from the group or take it yourself, you can meet offline about the opportunities and
Brian?
yes.
Before we get too much further, I asked for some time, and I don't see us on myself on either one. But we got both groups here today. Take a couple minutes here.
Yeah, is it something we already talked about or something? Because
It's about the person.
and that's really like,
Bill, could you join me up here, please? Anybody, my wife, please? Well, we usually make a lot of copies, so the supervisor copy of what's going on here. And Brian, tonight, gentlemen, on behalf of Philip Moderate, my wife Denise, and myself, we are here tonight representing the Lima Pumpkin Festival. And the Lima Pumpkin Festival, if you would help me with that, we are giving you tonight $5,000 to help start. And a lot of money is already planned. We finished up the electrical upgrade at the last minute before the festival in October. That was an additional $300 for covering that. The fishing dock, the Eagle Scout project down at the pond, we are donating $1,200 towards that. That should cover all the materials for that project. And then with hopefully labor with us that are going to help the scouts put that in. And we were just approached the other night, and we are also going to sponsor and cover 2 bike racks that he has planned for the park, and we are giving $1,000 to that. So that leaves $2,500. And right now that is earmarked, which we'll probably hear about. We'll have the project finished up by April with numbers and some design we've been working on. Right now that is earmarked for a pollinator project to clean up another part of the park that is nothing that is big, heavy grass. On the east side of the parking lot is the proposed area for that. A 150 by 30 foot wide strip all the way down through there is going to be what the designated pollinator project is. And I'm working with the county ASCS office, DEC, and a representative from New York State and out of the Conservancy. We're trying to get money from all of them to help cover this. But for right now, There's going to be 2,500 earmarked for that, and we know there's, like Brian said, there is a master plan. There are more projects planned going forward to upgrade the park, and we want to hopefully be a part of it.
We're all, like, we start halfway through the year, so you have to take that into consideration as well when you're going to be doing the contract. So, like, when you got paid at the beginning of this year, it starts at the town's fiscal year, at the beginning of their year, but it comes in halfway through our budget cycle. So we have to take that into consideration for next year, if we like trying to figure out how we want to put that on the same schedule.
So,
Is that related to the election cycle?
no, it's not. Yes, it's the way the villages and the towns are created. They do have the election cycle have changed recently. The town village election cycle has always been in April. We are June to June fiscal year.
Now, why don't we do that for the project? Why don't we do it in half?
Well, there's lots of things, and this is not a discussion for joint board meetings. I would be happy to have probably about why village elections may not be best served by being part of the general elections in November. But New York State has changed a lot of the rules. We did not put the villages required to be part of that cycle that they did with the towns. That being said, are there opportunities for us to front load and back load our budgets to artificially go hazy, so to speak?
I'm looking at more, because we're already kind of running into the contract.
Right, which is kind of what I'm doing now.
Contract, but it's hard to run it out of fiscal to say, like, I'm doing our fiscal year, because then, in theory, to make it so it matches up with ours, the town would either pay twice in one of their fiscal years, or do both the fiscal year without having anything for a contract. So it's downside of how the contracts work and how our budget years work. So, but I'd like to help with that kind of a conversation, only because I can help better see how it's gonna, fit in with our budget year. See how it works. And then the last question I have, it's been a conversation that's gone back and forth plenty of different times, and I know fire chief has been told some stuff and different things. We're getting closer to the end of our fiscal year, and has the town had any discussions about if there's any additional funds that are going to be added for the fire department for our fiscal year ends this year? Or the end of this one?
We do have some funds sitting in a contingency on the east side of the budget that are kind of reserved for that. We have to create the budget lines to actually pay them out of that. So that's a process, but then as far as dollars and cents wise, if we had in-depth discussions, no, only because we don't have a mechanism to pay, right? So if we don't have a mechanism to pay it, we can't do that. So we're working on it, or I'm working on creating those lines. So, and then we'll have more in-depth discussion with that.
So hopefully a breakout group of, including yourself and anyone that you think would be helpful. Yep. We can help make that happen as a joint town village. The next item on the agenda is fireworks. That was a John. Okay, that was John's. My apologies. We did not have a chance to discuss it. Anyone on the board have an issue or want to discuss the issue?
I just wanted to bring up the fireworks because of the drones.
I know we've already executed the contract, so already been sent.
So the contract for the public's understanding, the contract for July 4th, 2026 is been executed. Is moving forward. If there's thoughts or process of making changes to that, we're certainly open to that. Mayor Skiptunis did look into the concept of having a drone show. The company, the number that was given was $40,000, which far exceeds our ability to pay at this time. But that doesn't mean that we can't pursue some other form on those issues. So, I will say that issue today is tabled until for discussion for next year, as we start early again, July 5th.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Great, okay. Item 7, pass billing with the town for park and Petersville. So this is an issue that has lingered somewhat in for those that don't know, the park, Martha's Park is a joint effort between town and village. It is codified in the original documents that it is a 50-50 split. Typically, the village is the caretaker and maintenance of the park. Then and the crew are there weekly or sometimes daily in town, and then the tendency to miss those opportunities because the highway department tends to be focused on roads. So we would like to have a discussion about that. Ben, do you have anything you want to add to that? No. Okay. I didn't put this on the agenda, so that's my understanding of the issue. I think that it is for the village and the town to have a future discussion about that.
We're talking obviously inter-billing between the village and town.
So every time the lawn gets mowed or leaves get sprayed, the town is supposed to be after it, and it has not in the past. And that's not a fault. That is not just an oversight. It's an oversight. It's we have typically been a quid pro quo. We have scratching the backs. This, however, it has turned out to be much in the favor financially of the town and the village, and we're looking at ways to make the village whole on that and pass it and codify that for the moving forward.
Sure. And I know, Brad, you and I talked about it one other time about, the town pays the insurance part. Right. And we talked about, I don't know if there's an indemnification agreement between the village and the town. Because if we hold the insurance and somebody gets hurt, and they sue both town and village, is there anything that affects the village? Or are you guys wide open for this both?
I mean, the last version I saw, that policy has an additional insurance.
Okay.
It should have an additional insurance. I'm having to check it.
Well, I think it's worth us making sure. I mean, that was just one thing that I was thinking, is like, you don't want to be left exposed. You have,
last time we discussed the village additional insurance.
okay.
I think it should be that doesn't mean.
Yeah.
And again, we do have the Joint Parks Commission, which would be one avenue to further review this. Sure. You could certainly be an extended version of that, and the mayor and our financial folks to go over how this can be sorted out. The next, any questions about that from the board?
So I think, we're in this specific instance, we're talking about the park, right? But we have a lot of, you have the village green right next to the town hall, right? And some of that stuff gets confusing, so, I would lean towards, I don't know if we gotta go back and find both agreements or whatever, but if we don't, let's put something on paper so that future boards don't have to sort this, right? There's something that we can go back to. Yeah. Because I've worked for some of these things, I can't find it. That's the truth.
It's actually easier just to give you one that comes out and you know when you go forward. Yeah, it's not just
I tend to agree that informal look is probably the best idea. For those that don't know, within the village, there's multiple town properties. Within the town, there's village properties that get taxed as town, and the village taxes town properties in the village. And it's a very much checkerboard of past discrepancies and indiscrepancies that we have to deal with today. So a much more stringent legal format. But it would be best, I think, to take a de novo look at this. Sure. And have a more comprehensive plan of how the town and village interact with this. The next is sidewalk completion on 15A. I believe that is in town.
We've been having some discussion about it, and anybody else can chime in, but, the sidewalk currently runs, stops right before the car wash, right? If you go any further than that, you're going to run into a DEC wetland. And I don't think we have I know we don't have the time or money or what it's going to cost to do all those environmental surveys to continue that path. I don't see a lot of gain to do that. So as far as I'm concerned, I know I've talked to some of the other town board members, that where we're at is where we're at. I think that's
The next item is traffic calming. I, as a private citizen, approached the town board in the last quarter of 2025 to inquire about the opportunity for a 45-mile-an-hour buffer zone on Route 520 coming from Ava and Route 15A coming from the south. Both of those areas, the other sides, those two roads, the north and the west, have 45-mile-an-hour zones. As a village resident, I see cars both speeding up to get into that zone from the village and not slowing down to 30 miles an hour. We did have a discussion with the town supervisor to take it to the board, to the traffic board. Is that correct? What I'd like to say is I think it's in the village's best interest. It's not just a personal goal, but I think it's a joint goal for the safety of both the village and the town.
Yeah, I will say you're not the only resident in the village that brought that up. So I know that the historian and Karen and Walpole brought up the same concern with where they live. So I think it's definitely worth looking into. We have it on one side of the town, or one side of the village, not our other. And I assume a lot of that's probably back to past practice, probably back to the Rainbow Lake area down Michigan was all, there wasn't any traffic, as many residents out there. So I think it's worth petitioning when we come out and do a road survey and see if we can get, ultimately it's the state's going to have to do that. State and the county are going to have to agree to do it. But I think it's worth certainly going to both with a recommendation. I mean, the worst they can tell us is no, right?
And I think it's stronger doing it for the village and the town.
Yeah, I think collectively it's a little more for sure.
So again, it would be both the Traffic Safety Council and DOT have to be involved?
Yes.
To my best of my understanding. It is very much outside of the town or village's sole purview to do that because they are both state roads.
Yeah, I did a quick, when Walt and Karen reached out to me about it, to see kind of what the process was, high overview, and you gotta get to the state, and they gotta come out and they gotta do their study, get their data,
I would always start with the team.
yeah.
So, what do you get a local
They have a small body that requires for sure.
Right, yeah, it's anything, right.
Is that a county road or a state road?
They're both state roads.
State roads. And they got into the state.
Yeah.
Good luck. But isn't that sign, it's a yellow sign with 45 on it? That is only a recommended speed. It's not.
Right.
It's not one that you can say, give a ticket for someone driving.
Yellow traffic signs are conditional speeds, meaning that there's a curve, a bump, a blind spot, and you should slow down to that suggested speed. I'm asking what I've asked.
I think good we're talking to the state, and I've been before the past, getting that crosswalk and some flashing lights up there too.
We have we did review that on the village side. They're approximately $12,000 to $15,000 a piece.
But if we get the approval from the state,
We may be able to get state funds to do it. Again, that would be a 3% increase in taxes for the village just for 2 flashing signs. Unfortunately, that's a considerable amount these days. But I do agree that we can have an entire safety review as part of it. We have.
This is my observation. If you're there at the now coming into what the east, there's 40 mile an hour zone that is not getting adhered to at all.
Right.
Everybody's all about traffic control. I mean, you don't have police force, but I mean, I don't know how often the sheriff goes to their town. Is there something they could possibly do? Because I see speed down my street, down Main Street, coming in from the east all the time.
So I do know that my wife got a ticket coming down that hill at one point 10 years ago. But the mayor is the chief law enforcement of the village. contact him if he's not watching right now, and let him know that perhaps some traffic enforcement might be targeted traffic enforcement. We have had that for the school zone as well, so I will share that with him. I would take the privilege in the last few minutes of our meeting here to go over two things. One is I had an IT review with Mr. Marcellus yesterday. I believe that there's an opportunity for synergy between the village and the town with our IT needs that would not only cause better redundancies, more security, and cost less. So I'd like to, moving forward, just bring that up that the village, from our IT side, we're doing our budget, consider like to meet with the town and see where we can save money and do better by the taxpayers and actually have a stronger system for everyone. Okay? All right. And the other one is that we are all adjourning at 7 o'clock. If you have questions or comments, the town will be staying here. The village will be going down to the boardroom. Your comments are welcome there under our regular board meeting. Unless there's any other issues.
One other thing, only because I told her I'd bring it up. Karen's Corner, the historian's corner, is no longer in the corner. It'll be right across from the boardroom downstairs. She's got a display up there that has, a sign-in sheet for like who was here for the 250th. So I told her to bring it up. If you go down there for that, feel free to sign the sheet.
Have a motion to adjourn. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All, any opposed? Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.